This episode of Marijuana Today Daily is brought to you by our friends over at Curaleaf, one of the nation's top multi-state cannabis operators with 48 local dispensaries, 13 cultivation sites, and 12 processing facilities, serving up more than 150,000 registered medical marijuana patients. Check them out over at curaleaf.com, spelled Curaleaf. Good morning, Marijuana Nation. It's Wednesday, July 31st, 2019, and you're tuned in to episode 766 of Marijuana Today Daily. I'm your host, Shay Gunther, and I'll be walking you through today's marijuana news and headlines. As always, we have a full and busy day of cannabis news in our hands, so let's jump right into it. Today's news kicks off with an excellent must-read story by Amanda Chicago Lewis over at The Verge, where she dives into the question of whether or not people actually want to drink cannabis. Amanda is one of my favorite industry writers and I think does a good job of mixing in her own marijuana experiences and biases into this one. As she points out in the beginning of her story, she's a touch skeptical about the viability of drinkable cannabis since no one has really been yet able to figure out how to make it taste good, and because marijuana that you drink can hit you hours after ingestion and in a big way you might not be prepared for. It's such an experience from drinking predictable alcohol that I think Amanda might be onto something here in questioning the wisdom that the marijuana drinks vertical is going to explode someday in popularity. Whatever line you land on this one, this is a story you probably want to read. As always, we have all the news we cover linked to on our website at mjtodaydaily.com. The U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration was ordered by the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia to respond within a month to a lawsuit filed against it by an Arizona-based research institution seeking approval to use marijuana for academic research. Right now, the only institution allowed by the federal government to grow marijuana for study is the University of Mississippi, which has long been known to grow crappy weed that's nothing like the legal products for sale in state legal markets today. That means it's technically not possible to carry out scientific study on the marijuana products that people are actually using. The DEA is supposed to be working through applications to expand the ranks of official grows beyond the University of Mississippi, but it's been dragging its heels for years, approving so far exactly 0 other cultivation centers. Kimberly Lawson, writing over Marijuana Moment, grabs our final top story this fine Wednesday with a pickup of an academic study that was pre-published earlier this month that finds that the amount of opioid-based painkiller prescriptions written fell sharply in Colorado in the years following medical marijuana legalization compared to states that maintain prohibition. The study is yet to go through peer review, which is important to note, but it is in the process. Researchers at the Geisinger Commonwealth School of Medicine and the University of New England compared the Mile High State's opioid prescription rate against Maryland and Utah, states with matching demographic and geographic figures to Colorado, respectively. There's a lot to unpack in the results here, but one of the more interesting findings was that over the years 2007 to 2017, the prescription rate for painkillers in Colorado fell nearly 12%, while Utah saw its rate increase around 10%, while Maryland saw a smaller 6% reduction. Another good one to open up in full, as Kimberly's story has a link to the study itself. Always a good habit to read the actual study. Those are our top stories for today. It's time for Marijuana Today Daily Headlines Blitz. Before we blitz out in headlines, let's quickly thank our sponsor, Curaleaf, one of the nation's top multi-state cannabis operators with 48 local dispensaries, 13 cultivation sites, and 12 processing facilities, serving up more than 150,000 registered medical marijuana patients. Curaleaf is happy to be supporting the Veterans Cannabis Project, which works to expand the unrestricted and supported access of medical marijuana by military veteran patients. Curaleaf is helping to raise funds and awareness of this very important organization, which you can learn more about over at vetscp.org. That's vetscp.org. And if you want to learn more about what Curaleaf is doing to help out, pop over to curaleaf.com, where you can also find a list of Curaleaf's 48 local dispensaries, because there's no better way to experience the Curaleaf difference than by making a visit yourself. Big thanks to everyone at Curaleaf for helping support today's show. All right, time for the Blitz. Pennsylvania-based medical marijuana cultivator Agromed Industries has been stripped of its license to operate by state officials a month or so after a surprise inspection turned up evidence of numerous code and regulations violations. The company has 30 days to appeal the enforcement action. Pennsylvania officials say that Agromed started growing cannabis in February of last year, even though it did not have the equipment with which it could properly process its crop, as state law did not allow for the sale of raw flower. The company was unable to show paperwork or video showing what happened to the cannabis grown last year, which means it's possible it was diverted to the illicit market. Singer-songwriter Melissa Etheridge is a well-known supporter of legal marijuana and just announced that her new cannabis company, Etheridge Farms, has secured the first non-dispensary business license in California's Santa Cruz County. The company will open and operate a 6,000 square foot processing and distribution facility, which will make and sell Etheridge Farms products. Marijuana Business Daily's chart of the week shows how the legal marijuana investment landscape has changed between the years 2017 and 2019, with a noticeable shift in the balance from investors making interest-bearing loans towards more deals involving equity stakes. A good one to open up. As always, there's good background and context below the chart. A total of 1,866 people showed up in Los Angeles, California on Monday to file paperwork with the city to participate in the new legal marijuana industry's social equity program. It was a necessary part of that application process, with the next window to apply opening up in September. In the small Canadian city of Grand Forks, British Columbia, organizers are putting the finishing touches on a fall fair set to take place in the weekend of September 7th and 8th. That's something that's happening all over Canada, but what makes this one grab a spot in today's headlines here is the fact that at the Grand Forks Fall Fair, there's now a cannabis section for judging, and the town's mayor is signed up as the event's judge. Open up Leafly for more on this one. Louisiana could have medical marijuana up for sale early next week, as on Monday, one of the state's licensed operators, GB Sciences, submitted for testing to the state its first batch of products. If all goes well with that, Louisiana Ag Commissioner Mike Strain, perfect name for cannabis, said dispensaries could rev up sales as early as next Tuesday. And finally for today, activists in Florida submitted on Monday enough valid signatures of support for a proposed constitutional amendment legalizing marijuana to compel the state's Supreme Court to review the measure's language. It's the first step in a long process that includes the requirement to collect more than 766,000 additional signatures before then putting the question of legalization up to voters. Congratulations to everyone involved in this first step. Those are the headlines and news for the day. I'll be back with you again tomorrow morning with another information-packed episode of Marijuana Today Daily. But in the meantime, if you have any stories to share or feedback to give, zip us an email to headlines@mjtodaydaily.com. And while you're clicking around the interwebs, swing over to our Twitter account at mjtodaydaily and visit our website at mjtodaydaily.com to find links to all the news we cover. Thanks to our sponsor, Cureleaf, and to all of our awesome Patreon listeners for the support that makes this show possible. To join the illustrious ranks of the Patreon listeners yourself, swing over to our website at mjtodaydaily.com and click on that big blue button at the top of the page that says Become a Patron. I'm your host, Shay Gunther. Thanks for tuning in, starting your day with marijuana today.
One take, Shay. One take.